Now I just used that as a key to use my godly wisdom power and reload my memories, and man, what took you guys so long? I'm sorry. Are you okay? Is your mind still intact? Yeah, well, more or less, trust me, if anyone can handle being in a tiny room alone for a long time, it's a top tier NEET like me. Of course, my body's pretty much useless right now. Sorry your master's been saddled with holding me and all my excess padding up. Oh, but I knew it. Huh? Is she looking past us? Is there something? No. Someone there? Yeah, that's right. Maybe the only reason I was able to hang in there was because of what he asked me back then. Hee hee. After all, I couldn't break my promise, could I? Now that Ganesha and Lakshmi's existences have been confirmed here, we have proven beyond all doubt that Arjuna is not a perfect god. And because they have proven his flawed nature by enduring his massive world-undoing cataclysms, the resulting drop in his divine power must be severe indeed. Good, it worked so damn well, I skipped being happy and went right back to unyielding rage. What's more, Arjuna's basically cursed now since I sent them back to the past. All that time they spent there only reinforces the concept that the god who could miss something like this for so long must be defective. I see, to put it another way, it's as though a loan someone forgot to put on the books has finally come due. And now that we've proven that loan exists, we have the right to charge an exorbitant amount of interest. This should make for a spectacular show. There's nothing more exciting than a rival company on the verge of bankruptcy. Foo, biffoo! Now we should be able to actually hurt him, huh? Though that's not to say he's going to be an easy opponent. Just a moment, as I see it, part of my job is keeping an eye on things when Terra Arata's group can't. And right now, that would be you. Asvathaman? No! You're ending your own life here. Why? You guys piss me off, can't you tell, damn it? There's several reasons. First, I had to push myself way too hard to use Shiva's power to send those two back in time. Second, I'm still technically Arjuna's servant. If worse comes to worse, he could end up making me hurt you guys. And finally, there's no point keeping anyone around who can't fight worth a damn. Of course, it pisses me the hell off. Don't worry, the moment those two were freed, the moment this world's destiny was thrown for a loop, I'd already done what I could. And by that, I mean my spirit core should still be good for something. Truth be told, I was already pretty much a shadow of myself by the time we got here. I know there's no point in saying this now, but Terra Arata thought she would get to fight beside you right to the end. I can tell you, she's going to be real disappointed. Well, who knows, maybe she'll end up summoning me herself one day. That'd be most encouraging, you truly are a dependable servant. In the future, Terra Arata there is bound to bear witness to any number of scenes where she will be forced to stand back and bite her tongue, no matter how angry she may wish to get. If you could be there by her side at times like that, I think that would mean a great deal indeed. I guess you really do know the only kind of role I'm cut out to play. As for you, Wax-Master, you're the one who originally summoned me, so sorry I couldn't be more helpful to you. I was supposed to be your servant, but boy did I ever fail at that. You still got every right to be angry at me. I'm not angry. You know you couldn't help it. I know you couldn't help it. Believe me, I understand that sort of thing all too well. Maybe if I could get angry or upset on your behalf, it'd help you feel more appreciated as a servant. But I just can't. I don't know how to live my life that way. Sorry. The way you live your life, huh? While we're on the subject, let me say this. I was still your servant for a while, so I know this much about you. You might think you lost your way and that you don't deserve to be thought of as a human anymore. But you're wrong. I think you put your foot right through the path you were headed down. To make extra damn sure you wouldn't get lost on it. Maybe I don't have any right to say this, seeing how I snuck in and massacred all those people in the dead of night, but my comrades were all a bunch of good-for-nothings too. Especially Tirodhana and the other 100 princes, though they still were good guys at heart. Anyway, I think they were just fine the way they were. They might have been good-for-nothings, but they lived their lives the best they could. I think that's all anyone can do. Yeah, I know. There's no right or wrong when it comes to living your life. But still, when you're born on the outside looking in on the world, there's not a whole lot you can do, right? So I get it. It's one of those things that just can't be helped. It's not worth complaining about to anyone, and it's not worth asserting my rights over either. I just can't help but think it's a shame that this world ends up producing outcasts like me. And your resignation really colors everything in your life, doesn't it? That's why you feel bad for the world's lack of tolerance instead of for yourself. It's why you're appalled by human society's failure to help people like you. But you know, it takes a big person to think like that too. I don't have a problem with it. Hell, I wouldn't have a job without it. Who knows, maybe I'll end up running into you again someday as well. I'm sure you already know this, but as a servant, I'm not good for much except being a fiery ball of endless fury. But if you still haven't learned your lesson and end up as my master again someday, I'll make sure to make up for your lack of fire by getting good and angry on your behalf. Even if you aren't able to muster up any anger on your own about the world's injustice, I've got rage enough for both of us. I think that's what I'm meant to do. Well, thank you, Asfathaman. That'll give me something to look forward to. Well, glad I got all that off my chest. I'm counting on you all to take care of the rest. And by the rest, I mean the guy taking my place. I'm pretty sure you already know this, but he's not exactly the most graceful guy around. Wouldn't Arjuna just bring you back because he knows he can control you with a command spell and you've been immortal all this time? Why would he stop making you immortal if he knows he can control you with 3 spells? Like, just kill Terra Errata, and then that would force him to fight all of us until I'm dead.
What?
I knew it. I figured I'd find you here. It really pisses me off that you've been slacking. I have not been slacking off. I know that. I'm guessing this is the end, the place where Arjuna sends all the so-called failures he erases. A big old trash heap with no shape or form, just different concepts floating around every which way. I figure you must still be drifting around here back when I saw you in Syria's light itself. Of course you knew. You were the one who said that. Is there anyone more tightly wound than you? What? Sounds infuriating? Freaking infuriating. Alright, then let's do this. We only got a moment to pull it off, even if time is basically meaningless here. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna use everything I've got to pull you out of here, and you're gonna use everything you've got to climb the hell out. What do I have to do? It's easy. All we gotta do is be ourselves. As long as we do that, we should be able to connect. Alright, let's do it. Asclepius, you coming back? If there's no concept of time here, all the better. I want to keep going until I'm satisfied. If the time we experience here has no meaning, that means we can use as much of it as we like. So why just go back as I am now if I could use this time to train and get even stronger? The hell, at any moment of existing in this space, we could be torn to shreds and you want to train here? What the hell's wrong with you? I'm just going to do the same thing Arjuna did. Now that I know how far he pushed himself, I have to do the same to meet him on even ground. The same thing he did. He must have put himself through tremendous hardships before he reached his current state. It's one thing to say he collected every Indian divinity into himself and another altogether to actually do so. He may rule his land now, but he has not transcended its bonds. His current state is the answer he arrived at after countless hard decisions and tribulations. In which case, it would be the height of rudeness to challenge him as my ordinary self. So I will put myself through the same ordeals he did as a sign of respect and of despair. I will only challenge him once I have pushed myself as far as I possibly can. As his brother, I owe him no less. Oh, Karna, and you're gonna help me get there, Asvathaman. You're too damn good for your own good. You know that? Irritating as hell, but then I guess that's just how you've always been, isn't it? Alright then. Alright, fine. I'm the one who came to get you, so I guess it's my responsibility to see this through to the end. If you want to do this thing, we'll keep at it until you're good and satisfied. Come to think of it, I guess not caring about time is something you and the guy outside got in common. Can't tell if you're a good match for each other or not. Alright, here I come. Hero of benefaction, get ready for a world of pain. Boy, that was a lot of reading and talking. The auto scroll goes by way too fast, and no one has told me how to slow it down yet. Granted, I can read that fast, I just can't talk that fast. Oh boy. Why not both? Three times 5 turns, 3 times 5 turns. And I'm an archer, so I'm actually weak to this guy. But he's got multiple health bars, so I should save. I have no stats. Wow, I am not going to live long enough to do this. Oh. I guess I can't actually die here.
戦士の誓いはとうに消え、我らは堕落した。失踪するがいい。その策はやむなーず。ペンカラペンカラかけにしやがれ。せっ小手調べといくか。遅い。戦士の誓いはとうに消え、我らは堕落した。失踪するがいい。
Yamaraj. You're forgetting the last day in Welcome. And I really thought you were like Yamaraha.我は死をもたらす戦士なれば、不滅の刃を持って汝を引き裂こう。やぶらーつめペンカいい加減にしやがれ。いよいよ行くぞ。細かすぎる。頭上注意。悪く覚え。怒りこそペンカラ戦士の誓いはとうに消え、我らは堕落した。失踪するがいい。その策はやむなーず。ぶっ潰れてしめたぜこら。真の英雄は目で殺す。せっ小手調べといくか。遅い。小手調べといくか。燃えろ。技巧戦闘戦輪きついな。行くさ。勝
ちまったか。まあいい、次だ。
What's the score up to? I lost the count in the high thousands. Damn, it pisses me the hell off how strong you are. You're impressively strong yourself. I truly think you are one of the strongest warriors I have met. Well, did you do everything you wanted? I did. Then I guess you got nothing to worry about. There's only one thing left to say now. Let's go fight together again. I'll even let you borrow me. Thank you, I accept with gratitude. Ha, that's what I'd like to hear. Now hurry up. Thank you, my friend. Your anger may be defective and improper, but there are still some lost hopes that only it can save. What? What's going on? No way, is that? As Vathaman's spirit origin was at its limit, even if his connection to Shiva did let him interfere with time, he still had to sacrifice a lot to pull it off. He's using an infinite source of power, so he chose to burn freely so he could leave his spirit core behind. Also, he could take advantage of the moment when Arjuna's fallibility was proven beyond all doubt, because he believed that by doing so, a certain someone would come back using his spirit core as an anchor. What? That's right, the possibility was always there. Would Arjuna ever absorb him and make him part of himself? Absolutely not. Even if he did possess divinity, he is the one being Arjuna would most certainly refuse to absorb. That may be Vathaman. After all, oh, my apologies, it would seem that the time is not yet right to speak of that. Master, look, behind you! Ahaha, honestly, it was really hard waiting for hundreds and thousands of years, but you did say we'd be sure to meet again. That's a promise in my book. I mean, after all, I knew that you, of all people, would never ever lie. And so we have met again. You did wonderfully, Jinaku Karigiri. Absolutely wonderful. I can tell you've grown since we last met. Your face is now full of life and beautiful as a beautiful spring flower. Is he drooling? No, crying. Okay. Just say like... Come on. Calm down. The final Dark God. Karna, welcome back. I'm sorry it took me so long to return, Master. What did I just say? I feel as though I said something I couldn't possibly know. It happens to everyone now and then, don't sweat it. Besides, we got much bigger things to worry about, like bringing you up to speed on what's going on right now. Fortunately, I already have a fairly good idea of that. My memories are a little muddled, but they remain unbroken. As Vathaman's spirit core has given me the gist of everything that transpired while I was gone, it would seem the time has come to settle things. Karna? Roar! I'm afraid I'm not going to be much help. As you can see, I'm all tuckered out. That won't be a problem, as Vathaman lent me more than just the spirit core. For the time being, I can also use Shiva's power, at least to a certain extent. I see, so you inherited Vathaman's traits when you took over his spirit core. Of course, this power won't last forever. But I should be sufficiently familiar with it by now to hold on to it for a while after all those duels we had. Well, this is all great news for sure, but we still got a long way to go, given who we're up against. Speak of the devil. Arjuna, we can do this down here or up there. The choice is yours. He came down! Karna, I know you. You're Karna. Yes, I am, and now I'm going to defeat you. Why? Why do you oppose me? You were there too. You witnessed that foolish war, just as I did. I'm purging evil from the world, everything that is defective and unnecessary. That is the blade of justice I use to guide this world. My world is proper and right, in every way. Now the ground shaking? What's going on with the sky? This is the proof, the end of the final Yuga when justice reaches its climax. A perfect world of peace and harmony is now close at hand. I'm not seeing for myself whether this world is what you say, so I will not speak to that. I will instead let those whom I trust speak for me. There's nothing right about this world. It's so right, it's wrong. Well, there's an interesting viewpoint. Maybe you could even say the same about people. After all, someone who only knows what's right inevitably ends up doing the wrong thing. Allow me to refute your premise by substituting the world for civilization. Civilization roots must logically lie in humanity, not gods. This world may be refined as a result of you whittling away the people you deemed effective, but its civilization has not advanced one iota. Any philosophy that would lead to what we see here has its priorities completely backwards. I can't understand. You speak nonsense. You're defective, unnecessary, and therefore evil. Indeed, indeed. The time has clearly come for you to pass judgment on these wicked fools yourself. Well, well, look who just couldn't resist putting in an appearance. I guess that was inevitable, though, this god being your last bastion and all. That's the caster from Shimosa. Master, do you recognize him? I'm quite certain she does. That servant matches the description of a hostile entity Miss Terravada encountered in the parallel world of Shimosa. Though looking back at it now, it would seem that Shimosa was actually a small lost belt in its own right. At any rate, although the servant went by caster of Limbo, the one we see here is an alter ego. I trust you are also a disciple of the foreign god, just like Rasputin. I believe you said your name was Abe no Seimei, one of the world's greatest onmyoji? What a dreadful thing to say. No righteous Chaldean servant should be quite so devious. You really should know better, Lord Detective. It's one thing to joke, but quite another to merely play along with my using an alias just to put the screws to me. Dreadful, simply dreadful. What was it again? Abe no Seimei? True, that cowardly schemer is certainly an acquaintance of mine, so I'm not completely unfamiliar with his name. But my name is simply Limbo, Lord Sherlock Holmes, and I would ask you to address me thusly. And yes, as you surmise, I am indeed one of the 3 alter egos who serve the foreign god. I'm the one who made the first move to prepare for the coming of the Trees of Emptiness, and turned Shimosa into hell to test a pit theory of mine. Then that's the servant who's been leading Arjuna down this path? Kalyan Sky, can you tell us anything more about... Sorry, we've closed for the day. We look forward to your business in the future. Kalyan Sky is gone. The only trace she left behind is this note. Indeed, indeed, I'm certain she had no other choice but to make her escape. It is absolutely unforgivable to side with Chaldea, no matter the circumstances. That said, I'm not entirely heartless. I see no need to go out of my way to report her misdeeds to the foreign god. Now that she's nowhere to be seen, there's no proof that she helped you. I think we can leave it at that. I suppose it was inevitable for her injuries that would heal now that she's had time to rest. Oh well. I'll have to think of a way to capture her for good some other time. Very well then, Limbo, you must be the servant who has been serving Arjuna's military advisor of sorts. Now that you've shown yourself after hiding away all this time, does that mean you no longer had any other choice? Hardly. My appearance here is merely a matter of courtesy. It is not yet time for me to get my own hands dirty. Although, if you absolutely insist, I think I can manage a few tricks of my own. Humbled as I am to be the opening act of this world's god, if I must, I must. Looks to me like you keep clear of danger as much as possible. Oh no, no. All I want to see is what is about to happen up close and personal. This world's sudden drastic change must be due to its situation making significant forward progress. Either that or it's starting to come apart at the seams now that the end is near. If Limbo's goal is to see what happens after that, he may even have been pulling Arjuna's strings up to this point. No, never mind that. Right now, all I can say for sure is that we have no time to waste. We need to eliminate Arjuna and Limbo as quickly as possible. Should we fail to do so, this world will play host to a dreadful fatal event, and it is clear from Limbo's barely restrained delight that there will be no coming back from whatever it is. I believe we leave Arjuna to Karna. The rest of you please focus on Limbo. I can use the Kali to keep the nearby sacred beasts away. You alright, Lakshmi? Of course, now that I've come this far, I finally understand. The Kali are both a part of this world and its last form of resistance. They are creatures apart from God, born to fight against order. Perhaps that is the reason why Lakshmi was summoned here, so that I could help them. Some queen I turned out to be. Once a rebel leader, always a rebel leader. We'll handle the sacred beasts. The only enemies the rest of you need to worry about are those two. I'm counting on you, Theravada. Arjuna is no longer a god we can only look up at from afar. He's now destruction incarnate, and we have to stop him no matter what. Let's go get him, Master. I thought we were focusing down Limbo and Karna ahead, Arjuna. Mash. And what class affinities are good against an alter ego? Nothing in particular. Okay, moving on. Alter egos are kind of like shielders in that respect, but I could have sworn No, I had an alter ego do increased damage to a ruler, which was weird.
ご指名感謝いたします。全力で楽しませていただきます。
さて、カウンティングオーバー。さて、カウンティングオーバー。
大蔵、意見。
おや、行くかい？
せい。
切り込む。どうだい？
これでどうかな。
握りつぶしてあげましょう。
はい。
いただいてしまって。
ほっ。
大豆七、野山号。いただきます。
では、これでどうかな。
最高のカードを。おや、
お任せ。
行くかい？切り込む。
ほっ。
夢の世界にひとま。